Hey everyone, Matt here, coming at you with another DIY house project. This one is for all of you smart home enthusiasts out there. Today we're going to be installing one of these Lutron Connected Bulb Remotes right alongside of some of our existing house switches here. This is going to allow us some more easier access to existing features of our smart home. Sometimes I'm more of a function over fashion type of guy, but when it comes to smart home applications, a lot of us find it hard to get that wife seal of approval on any sort of DIY projects that aren't commissioned by our sweetheart on the honey-do list. Hopefully I'll show you how to get your cake and eat it too. Let's talk about some functionality first. These are typically used for standalone applications to dim Zigbee bulbs. I'm sure they work great for that, but the real reason I purchased these are because they work with the Wing system. They can be programmed for various shortcuts. On this remote, I have different shortcuts for varying levels of brightnesses tied to some of the floor lamps in my living room. So my living room doesn't have any built-in lights, so this allows me to turn on lights or control the different brightnesses for both lamps at the same time. Now I don't have to fumble for switches in the dark or do anything besides press a single button. Not to mention, I can do all of it from my phone. Wow factor. Now to the good stuff. Here's what we'll need. You're going to need yourself a connected bulb remote. So you're going to need some screws. You're going to need your plus and your minus bits. Lastly are these Lutron light switch covers. You can choose your different size, so make sure you grab the right one. You're going to need an extra than the one you have there to put your new remote in. I like these because they're about 3/8 of an inch larger than your existing standard builder's grade quality light switch covers. Also, they have neat little indents to hold the screws in there while you're screwing things in. This really is a pretty easy project, but like with most projects, you do need to be careful. We are working with live wires when we take this panel off. So what we're going to do is we're going to first start off by taking out all these screws and taking off this front cover. Sometimes these panels have been on here for quite a while and have adhered to the wall with the various properties in the paint. I find it pretty easy if you just take the bottom part of your screwdriver and just tap the top of the light switch cover and it should come right off. Just like that. But we do have live wires in here, so do be careful. What we've got here is we've got the bulb remote unpackaged. You'll notice here on the back that there is a little slide out plastic piece, and on this plastic piece there are 2 screw holes. This is where the screws come in. So we'll go ahead and put this back on there. Go ahead and pop your new light switch cover back on to the existing lights, and you'll notice that we have our blank space right over here. And we're going to want to put in some screws, hopefully to center the switch plate a little more evenly. You want these to be centered on the other switches because of the way that we're going to mount our new switch. Alright, the next step is you're going to want to grab your remote. Make sure this plastic piece is inserted into the back of the remote, and then also make sure that the plastics are flush, your clear and your white plastics are flush here on the bottom. Then you're going to want to go ahead and remove the adhesive back on that mounting bracket. And stick the remote right into the hole here, pressing on the sides to make sure that it has been inserted evenly. Go ahead and remove your panel again here. Now you're left with the exposed switches and your new connected bulb remote. The next part you're going to want to be very careful, because what you're doing is you're pressing on the sides and you're going to take that remote out of that adhesive piece. I found it easier on my application to make sure the sides were secured down again, and then grab at the very corners and push up gently and a little bit quickly so that you can just pull it out of that initial clip and then pull it off the bracket. So now you're left with these 2 holes, and this is where we're going to go ahead, switch to our plus size bit, and throw some screws into these 2 holes to secure it to the wall. If you screw up the placement by wiggling this remote too much, just take your panel again and throw it over the top. Adjust to all of the different holes there, and just wiggle the remote back into its proper place and square it up using the existing panel. All we really need is just to secure this to the wall, and not really any side-to-side movement or up and down movement, because the plate is going to hold it there. I'm just going to use a single screw through the top hole of this bracket and just go right into the drywall. Don't get it too tight, because the drywall is not a threaded surface, as well as you don't want to move that bracket back and forth. Now that the bracket is secured to the wall, just go ahead and take your remote, slide it back on, and then affix your cover. Now all you have to do is throw in your remaining screws and program the remote. The cool thing about these switch plate covers, and I bought these at Home Depot, are that they have what are essentially little tabs that go down right where my screwdriver are on both sides, and it's plastic. So when you put the screws in there, you can actually thread them in with the plastic bits there. Now if your plates don't have these, you can probably just go ahead, put the screws in there and hot glue them in or something like that for aesthetics.
Okay, now that we've installed the remote onto the wall, it's time to add it to our wing cap. So we'll go and start wink. Here we have a bunch of different lights and everything. We're gonna want to go to our main menu, go to add a product, and you can scan the barcode, I think, but we're just gonna go down and find remotes, find our connected bulb remote right there. Now the great thing about Wink is that it'll walk you through it. We pretty much just have to follow these instructions. It's obviously within the range of the hub, so it says when instructed, press and hold our very top button on the remote until the light starts flashing, but we first need to get the hub ready. So we're going to hit connect now, and now it's telling us that we need to go ahead and hold the button until it starts flashing. So we're over here at our light switch. I'm going to hold this top button until it starts flashing, which it is right there. Let's come back to our app here, and we get the success. Now we just go ahead and click get started. We're good to go. This is obviously all pretty straightforward. You do have to come over here after it's all set up and click these three dots at the top, and then you have to go to your new remote, and you do have to set it up for shortcuts so that it triggers shortcuts instead of the lights. So you can always switch that back if you want, but this is the best way to do it. So you go ahead and go back to your main screen, and I'm just going to set this up. I've got a few shortcuts already assigned. These ones are for my great room, so this one's going to be great room lights on. The third button is going to be my dim setting, and then all the way down at the bottom I'm going to have this one set for off. So as you can see, not super hard to get this set up properly, and I think it looks pretty good, and I think the wife will approve.
Boom, we're done.